Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
Brian, you're my NFL guy. So let's do some Jimmy G talk quick before we jump out of here, if you don't mind.
Of course.
We had the trade of Baker for a 2024 fifth rounder. Awesome. In your opinion,
I was tired of speculating on Baker.
In your opinion, if Deshaun Watson, and we're taking a leap here, gets suspended for the year indefinitely, which I do think will take place, but that's whatever. That's a big if. But let's just assume that's what happens. Do you think there's an opportunity or a possibility for Jimmy G to be traded to the Browns?
So I've given this a lot of thought. We've mentioned this once again previously on one of the episodes I was on, John. And I think last time we were both like, yeah, they should. It makes sense. The more I think about it, I have a feeling Cleveland won't. I have a feeling that they'll stick with Brissett. They obviously got into this Deshaun mess expecting him to not miss much time at all. They kind of played this thing, so they expected it to be smaller than what it looks like it's going to be. And I just have a feeling they're not going to suck it up and want to bring in Jimmy Garoppolo at this point, because what does that mean next year? Because clearly they're going to expect Watson back. So I think they're willing. They like the rest of their roster. They're willing to roll with Jacoby Brissett as their starter because they believe in the rest of the pieces they have. Obviously, they got Amari Cooper. They still have Hunt and Chubb in the backfield. They still have probably a top 5 offensive line. You still got Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward. I mean, you've got talent all across the board. So logic says, hey, we'll bring in a quarterback like Jimmy G to make that, but they'd have to teach him the offense. I don't know. I just have a feeling that that's not going to happen. On that same discussion, I'm starting to hear a little bit more about the Giants, but not before training camp. I'm starting to hear, well, what if Daboll, as a first-year head coach, is not they didn't pick up Daniel Jones' fifth-year option? What if they start the season off and Jimmy G's on the 49ers? Because if there's not a good offer, that you might as well have him backing up Trey Lance. And then it just doesn't go well for the Giants. And Daboll's like, I need somebody better. What if the Giants traded for a guy like Jimmy G? What if Daboll wants to use a quarterback like that? I don't know. I'm not saying that'll happen, but that's something I'm starting to hear and starting to see that's like, that has a little bit of juice. I saw a little bit. Somebody's like, what about the Bucks? I'm like, Jimmy G behind Brady again. I don't really see that. But the Giants, John, what are your thoughts on something like that?
I like the idea of that landing spot big time, but man, they paid Tyrod Taylor a lot of money. I think he got like a 2-year, $16 million deal. I think it was. They have Davis Webb there. I don't really like that.
Well, Taylor's going to get injured. I mean, literally, the dude gets injured.
2 years, $11 million.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's there. I like Tyrod Taylor. And something that, again, I don't think that this is necessarily likely, but what happens in my mind, man, if Jimmy gets traded to, whether it's the Browns or the Giants or whatever, it would be incredible to get one of those veteran quarterbacks back that cost money. Because if you look at whether it's the Browns, right, with Brissett or Dobbs is their next backup, or you're looking at the Giants with Tyrod Taylor, man, if you're worried about money in the quarterback position, which actually the Browns have the most cap room in the NFL. So I don't think money's really the issue there. But, man, getting a quality backup, I do not like Nate Sudfeld, even though he got guaranteed $2 million.
No.
I like Sudfeld. I don't like him as my backup. I really, really don't. So I don't know. There's a lot there. We'll see. I just wanted to get your take on it because you're somebody that I think is in the know and gets it.
I don't think he's going to Seattle. I'm more and more convinced that he's not going to go to the Seahawks. The Niners aren't going to trade him in the division.
And all the people that keep saying he's going to get released, hell no.
Now, why?
You don't release him.
You don't.
He's going to walk for free to Seattle.
Yeah.
No way.
You don't need the cap savings. You're not. You've signed your rookie class. There's not a benefit to cutting him at this point. You have that veteran presence behind Lance that can, if Lance gets injured or if he just comes out of the gate and struggles, there's zero advantage at this point in the offseason for San Francisco to release Jimmy G. They're either going to trade him or they're going to keep him as the backup for the all year.
Yeah, and I know somebody's screaming right now like, oh, that salary cap space, you could roll it into the future and sign Bosa. That I agree with. None of this is going to help you in 2022.
Yeah.
Shanahan is not going to release a quarterback when you have the Seattle Seahawks in division finally just like with no help. No doubt Jimmy would sign there tomorrow just to piss Kyle Shanahan off. Can't do that. Can't do it. All right, Brian, anything you got before we jump out of here?
Well, as always, hey guys, check out Legit Football, legitfootball.com. Just hit join in your email address, 100% free. All your NFL news, 5 minutes a day. We've got the newsletter. We also have an app, and we have a companion podcast. But as I mentioned at the top of the show, if you weren't on yet, my 30 Minutes of Football show every Tuesday and Friday in the off season at 10 a.m. Pacific. I'm going to have your boy John Chapman on next Tuesday at 10 a.m. just talking some NFL talk, but because it's him, it's probably going to be like 85% Niners. So you want to have an extension of this show, check us out Tuesday. Would appreciate you guys. Go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Always reach out on Twitter @_legitfootball. I'd love to hear from you guys.